Welcome to my channel. My name is Lily, and today I'm going to review Illuminae because I hate this book. Needless to say, this book got to me. That darn book. The first part of this video is spoiler free, and then I'll warn you when the spoilers do come, so no worries. So again, this is Illuminae by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I'm a little late to read this book. I think it came out last year, but everyone has been talking about it for the entire year, and so I finally got it because I heard that the audiobooks were great, and I was in need of an audiobook. Don't be fooled, clearly it is not an audiobook. This is the audiobook. I got both, and I recommend this very much, and I'll tell you why. So first of all, this is the kind of book that you do not even want to know anything about before you start reading it. I think I read a synopsis before I started, but it didn't really make any sense to me, so it's like I didn't even know anything about the book. So if you don't want to know anything at all except for that, it's awesome and you must read it. This book is no joke. Everyone is saying they love it for a reason. A very good reason. So if you want to know nothing else, just go and just read it. However, if you want to do your research a little bit more, let's keep talking about it. I felt like this was a book that was a blend of 3 different stories. The Maze Runner, Divergent, and Game of Lives. Now 2 of those series are by James Dashner, who is one of my favorite authors. And he took no part in this book, so I don't know how they got that. But just the essence of the story reminded me of just all the cool things that happened in those series. Other than that, I can't tell you why this reminded me of those books, but it was good. So it's set in the future, so it's all futuristic and such. And like there's this stuff going on and you kind of have to figure it out as you go along. So it's not like I could just say, it's about this, because then everything would be spoiled. But just believe me when I say that this is such a good book. I'm so angry at it, but I'm angry at it because I love it. I hate for good reason. So that's really all I'm gonna say. I just really encourage you to try reading it without knowing much, because that's the fun way. And also before you go, I want to tell you about the audiobook. Now, Christine at Poland Bananas Books recommended the audiobook when I was watching her video for Illuminae, and that's how I found out that this was a good one, because usually I don't love audiobooks. Like, you have to find the right audiobook because some of them are just kind of boring. But this one has a whole cast of characters and sound effects, and I thought it was very helpful because this book, I'm sure you've heard, is formatted in a way that it's just made up of like files and letters and audio recordings and stuff like that. And it's hard to keep track of all that if you're just reading straight from the book and trying to organize it all in your mind. The audiobook sorted everything out for you because they said things in different tones of voice or in different ways, and it really helped to keep track of who was talking and if this was someone who has talked before. Because I don't know about you, but in general I have a difficult time remembering characters' names and what they do and stuff if it's not plainly stated. So if they're just going through a list like General, Commander, blah blah blah, I'm like, who's important here? What should I be remembering? Because there are a lot of names and a lot of different dates and stuff in here too. So what the audiobook does is it gives you the opportunity to listen to the story without having to worry so much about the dates and times and names and places, because those are important in a way, but you can follow the story without them. And so if you're really interested in something, then you can like go back and try to memorize it, but otherwise this is good. So I highly recommend the audiobook, but I also highly recommend having a copy of the physical book as well, because you have to look at the book to get the whole experience. But I also think that you kind of have to listen to the audiobook to get the whole experience. So it's like you need both. What they really just need is a movie. So yeah, that's all I'm gonna say for the no spoiler part. But before you go, please be sure to comment if you have any thoughts, subscribe, like, all those things. Because I know it's so easy to get caught up in the moment of just clicking out of a video. Just a friendly reminder. This is a 5-star book. I very much recommend it. I really hope you enjoy Illuminae, and if you've already read it, it's time to talk about spoilers. Spoilers, spoilers, spoilers. Wow, those exist. Where do I even start? I did not expect to get so attached to this book like I did. This was a very surprising 5-star rating, but I'm not complaining. So let me talk about the audiobook again real quick, because this is important. If you've only read the book, I'm sure you've noticed that the messaging format they use to tell the story is different from, say, a normal story. People talk differently over text, and it's short and it's weird, and sometimes you say things and they don't really make sense, but they make sense when you send it in a text. I can imagine how difficult it would be to find the character beneath those messages. Guess what? The audiobook solves all your problems. It's upside down, I apologize for that. The audiobook gave the characters unique voices, which was so necessary. At one point I was listening to the audiobook and definitely thinking that if I was not, this would be a very confusing story. I cannot imagine trying to keep track of every character in my head, especially when they don't give a great introduction to each character. The audiobook is so good. Even if you've already read the book, which I hope you have if you're here right now, you should listen to the audiobook. The characters are all great, and some of them even have accents where I wouldn't have been able to imagine that if I was just reading on my own. But the accents made it so much better. There's a lot of good stuff here. So anyways, back to the real book. I loved the mystery of this book so much. It felt kind of like a whodunit story. Like a murder mystery book. Only it wasn't one murder, it was many murders. Okay, and I have to mention right away how much I loved that all the swear words were bleeped out. Because for me personally, I don't love all the swear words that are commonly found in young adult books. Unless it packs a real punch, I find it pretty unnecessary to throw around all this stuff. And so this is like the best of both worlds, because they used it if they really needed to get their point across, but then I didn't have to hear it or read it. This is the best day. And when I posted my first status update for this book on Goodreads, my friend was commenting, "Oh, just wait, it gets even better." And I'm like, I'm sure it does a little bit, but no, it got so much better. Especially the pictures. I mean, you can just see by looking at the book how it gets darker and darker, and that's Aiden. When I got to this part and realized this was all Aiden, I was like, oh my goodness, what is this gonna be? So good. Oh, okay. And I loved the simplicity of the book. Like, there weren't a ton of intricate details that you needed to follow. You just read it and got a general sense of what was going on. It was so well done. And I loved the ending so much. When Aiden started talking about Ezra, and then he's like, "Katie, I think you've known all along. Ezra's dead." I was so mad. I was like, I hate this book, I hate this book. On Goodreads, that's why I was typing. I don't just type furiously when I start to hate things. Although that might be an interesting stress reliever. But then somewhere along the lines I started to wonder, wait, Aiden said that was the only way to get her to the Alexander. What if he's lying? But then it got to the part where the Alexander blew up. It's the Alexander, right? I sure hope so. I got to the part where the ship blew up and Aiden died. Ish. And Katie escaped, and I thought he was gonna, like, tell her, like, as a parting gift, like, "Katie, wait, Ezra's alive," and then, like, he dies. Wouldn't that have been beautiful? So then the story kept going, and I was like, aw, sad, I don't think he's actually alive anymore. But then he was. Oh, I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it. My favorite picture in the whole book is the scream. That's one of my favorite paintings anyway. But this is so cool. I want to put a copy of this on my wall. And I'm so mad at myself for not realizing that it had switched from Ezra to Aiden in their messages. Because of that one moment when Katie said, "Oh, I should have known you avoided talking about our 1-month anniversary." I was like, I felt weird at that part. And I should have listened to myself, and I didn't. I could have beaten this dang book. I'm also quite thankful for the audiobook on pages like this, where you're not sure where to start, where to end. I think there was another page like that too, where I was reading along in the book while it was playing, and I was like, oh, we go up there. Oh, now we start, oh yeah. And so I was very glad to have that helpful guideline, because I would have been reading it all wrong. Also in the audiobook, it read all the black pages in a different voice, so you knew right away this was someone else and not just like some weird notes. Okay, and one of my theories was that the briefing notes were from Ezra. I don't remember why I thought that. Then they were from Katie, and that makes sense, I suppose. I just loved this book. It was a really fun experience. This was a full-on experience. Aiden was such a cool character. Like, I had a feeling that he was gonna do the things that he did and end up where he did. Like, he was gonna start to become more human and things. But I always loved that, and it doesn't get old. I couldn't tell if he was falling in love with Katie or not. If he was, that's sad, and also there might be some sort of a love triangle in Gemini. Oh, how messed up would that be? But Aiden was so poetic. I just loved the way his story was told. Like, he understood everything, but he couldn't feel it until the end. He started to understand how to feel. And I loved those moments when he started to say things like, I should have known that was coming. Why didn't I know that? My favorite character in the whole book, and especially because of the audiobook. I'm sorry, but this audiobook is amazing. So analyst number 7213, in the audiobook, he has a posh or like almost Cockney accent. It's so great. He totally acts like a commentator just watching the game or something. It was so fun to listen to him talk because I would have never imagined that accent for him. And all of his surveillance footage sections throughout the book were absolutely my favorite parts. Wait, was that Dorian? Yeah, it was Dorian, wasn't it? It was played by the same voice actor. But then there was... oh, dang it. Okay, people, let's try to figure something out. You may already know, but I don't, so I need some help. Analyst 7213 and Dorian, are they the same person? Because they're played by the same voice actor, and I had it in my head that they were the same, but now that I'm thinking about it, I don't remember any real proof to back that up, especially since after Dorian was killed, there is another surveillance footage summary? I don't know anymore. Please let me know if you have any ideas. So I should probably finish up here. This could easily turn into a video of me just looking at all the pretty pictures. My friend was like, aren't the pretty pictures great? And I was like, you mean the words and the formatting? She's like, no, the pictures. And I had not gotten to like the scream part or anything yet. So I did not even know. I have Gemini right here, and I'm gonna start reading this ASAP. It's Christmas Eve, and so I'm finishing up presents and stuff, and I just have the audiobook on in the background, which is an excellent way to do this. I read this in 2 days. This is a big book. I would have never been able to do that in 2 days. Had it not been for the audiobook. Can we give it a last round of applause? So much goodness here. Thank you very much for watching. I would love to hear your thoughts on the book. If you've read the audiobook, whether you're going to read the audiobook, please read the audiobook. A fly just flew in front of my camera, and I thought I should mention that I did notice that. I don't even know where that fly came from. Please remember to like and subscribe as well as commenting if you feel so led. I'll be back soon with a review for Gemini, and until then, you'll see me the next time, and it will be soon. Bye.